Hey guys, me again. I really missed you the few days I was not posting any audios, so I have a need to talk to you. And as I told you already, I really want everyone to, just make their lives better. That's what magic is for, like I already explained, to make your lives easier and better, and magic can do that. But it's important to know how to get into the right receiving energy. And as you know, I talk about this a lot and probably too much, but I need to talk about this a lot because I am aware that for some people this is a really hard thing to understand and a really hard thing to achieve just because of how you've been living your life so far, which is totally different than the way you should be living it. And this is, due to the programs you have running in your brain that were installed in you when you were a kid. It's not your fault at all. It's just how your surroundings are and how the society is making everything look. And that is not how it actually is in spiritual realm. It's something totally different, but this is something that's another topic than what I actually wanted to talk about in this audio. So, this is not really necessarily energy based, but what I'm gonna tell you is something that's totally true for some of us. So, I'm gonna tell you something, and I want you to think about it really well and see if it resonates with your situation, because this doesn't resonate with every situation and with everyone. But sometimes, if you have an ex, okay, let's say you're trying to get an ex back. Sometimes this ex was here to make you realize something. So, this is something I would personally just call a karmic situation. A lot of people would call this a twin flame situation, and I don't like to even use this expression because I think that it's like I said in my last audio, it's one of those things that drive people crazy. There's so many twin flame coaches, so many twin flame videos, and people are very obsessing about this twin flame thing, trying to get their twin flames back, which is not what you should be doing at all. And if you're gonna obsess over something, watch a billion videos about something, that thing is just gonna go further away. So this is why I'm not gonna use that expression, although I guess we could, for this specific situation, totally use it. I'm just gonna say karmic, because twin flames are karmic as well. So you might have had a karmic ex in sense that they had to happen so you can something so you can realize something about yourself and you can go into a path you were meant to go, but you would not go unless this thing happened to you. And usually it's like a huge heartbreak that happens. So I'm gonna just give you my example. This happened to me actually twice, to get into magic, and that was like the mission of these karmic exes and two horrible heartbreaks I had in my life, the worst ones obviously, that have sent me on the path I'm into. The first one was just to initiate my interest. Well, I had interest, but to initiate my real true practicing, to start really practicing magic. And then the second one was years later when I was, on a different path again. I wasn't practicing magic as much anymore, and I had different ambitions. And this other one had to happen for me to go fully into magic. And, I I did kind of realize that pretty quick because it was pretty obvious in my case. It doesn't need to be that obvious in your cases. That's why I want you to really think about if something has changed in your life, with your spirituality, with your beliefs, with just like your preferences, maybe with your career path, anything. If something major has changed that you don't even understand that was a major thing, but take some time and think. And if it has, that was the reason this X happened. Also, sometimes when we kind of realize, oh, okay, this is why it happened. So if he or she, I'm gonna say my example, if he didn't break my heart totally and fully, I would never be where I am today, right? I would never be a full-time spellcaster ever. That's a sure thing. I'm telling you, you should thank this toxic ex of mine. We all should be very thankful. And I just view the breakup like differently. I view it as something that needed to happen, because if it wouldn't happen, my life would be totally different. I might be married right now with kids and just, have a regular life, and my abilities would just, be unused. So I just, when I realized this, I was like thinking, in, of course, not the person, face to face, but in my mind, in my energy, I thank the person for putting me on the right path, because that was his mission. He doesn't know it, of course, in his consciousness as a human being. He's not aware of it at all. So don't go and thank your ex or something like this. They're gonna think you're insane. But I did thank the universe, basically, not really him, but more the universe, for like arranging it this way. And once you understand the purpose, and the person is just like a puppet, it's playing a role. It doesn't mean that they deliberately wanted to hurt you. It's kind of like all sorts of circumstances that will happen for you to get on the right path. So I was thanking the universe for the experience, and obviously, and just for the fact that I am on my right path now. And when you do that, you will kind of let go of the resentment, hate you might be feeling toward, because we always, even when we want them back, right, we still have this, we resent them for what they did. That's just normal. It's human nature. And everybody says, oh no, forgive them, but it's really hard to do. And this is like a really good technique to achieve forgiveness, because once you realize the grand scheme of things, it's just easier to forgive, right? So, I was like thinking, forgiving, understanding. That's really important, understanding. Okay. So once you do all of those things, and again, this is not how it works with every single ex. Not every ex is gonna be a karmic. So only if they are, only in the cases when they are. Um, you can, after you realize all that, after you've forgiven everything, after that, the person's mission is finished, right? And later that person is just like a person as they would be normally. And after that, you can, if you want to, if you do spells for it, you can get back together, which I don't want personally. And this is not out of resentment necessarily. It's more because I honestly been enjoying being single. I don't know why or how this happened, but I like it. I really like it. Yeah, and also I'm just like, um, if I was to get into a relationship, I would rather just have somebody new, just try new things and new people. That's just my preference. But if you really want that ex back, once you realize their mission and why they happened and how it all went, once you release them from the role, because you're still keeping them in the role if you're resenting them and if you're not understanding why it all happened and what their role was, they're still in this role because they're gonna stay there until you kind of understand, let go, and accept. So this is why maybe for some of you that have this situation, why they can't come back even with spells, because you're just sending so much resentment, and also your mission is not accomplished, and their mission, basically what they were meant to do, is not fully accomplished. So that might be the reason. This is actually why I'm making this audio. I know I'm all over the place. So I hope you get it. So once you really think about it, understand, oh, if this heartbreak did not happen, I would not be on the path I am on now. And this path is so different than my path before. It's such a huge change. So it had to be for a reason. It's a totally different path. And I was walking, just, I don't know, a couple of months before or a year before or whatever, time is just, it's not important. So if you realize these things, okay, so this person was playing a role, obviously, to get me on my path, because I wouldn't get on my true path I was supposed to be on if this person never happened, or if they never hurt me, if our relationship was perfect and we got married or straight away, right? So I would not go on this path. Now this doesn't mean you can't have this person afterwards, because you are on your on the right path now, so you can now have someone and be happy with and married or whatever you want. But if you got it the first time around, you would not be where you are now. I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? So this thing had to happen. It was karmic. It was meant to happen. And yes, that's how the universe works. It sometimes, and this is just how it is. It needs to be this way. I won't even say I wish it wasn't this way, because this is the only way to achieve some things. So it just needs to be this way. You just need to be hurt sometimes. You just need to have a horrible events happen to you sometimes. It needs to happen. It's just what it is. And I know that when you're in your ego and you're like just totally not aware of these things, you just view it as this huge accident, as this huge unfortune. But that's not what it really is. And you should just change your perspective. And I'm not telling you to change your perspective to be more positive or something like that, but just change your perspective because it's the realistic perspective of how the universe works. So, heartbreak is just a part of life that happens for a really big reason. And that's how you should view it. You should be thankful for all the heartbreaks you had in life, because all of them were for you to learn something, for you to grow as a person, not necessarily to put you in a totally different path, but it does sort of, you know, works that way in a sense, depending. It's just such a huge generalization that it's hard for me to use the right words. But basically, yeah, this is how the universe works. And the people we meet, they're just, most of them are just karmics that are playing a role that is supposed to do something for us, right? So think of it that way, because that is the way it is, trust me. And once you kind of realize these things and understand them, you're gonna be a way less resentment to anyone. You're gonna understand people better. You're just gonna be like, it's just not going to be so much in your ego, which is really bad for us humans to be in our ego, to just, when we get hurt, we're just about us, right? How much we're in pain, how much we're hurt, and all of those things. And we should be more into like, why all of this happened, what's going to be next. It's all it's all how it's supposed to be. And instead of thinking, oh no, why me? And I'm not telling you to be like, oh great, my heart got broken. It's uncomfortable. That is how it's meant to be. And this is why the change is happening afterwards. So I know it's uncomfortable. I'm not telling you to be happy about it, but it's beneficial for you at the end of the day. And at least it should be if you just allow it to be. So I don't know if you guys even understand what I'm talking about. I hope some of you at least do. This is a topic that's a bit more advanced, I guess. If you're a beginner, you're probably not understanding anything I'm talking about, and you're thinking I'm crazy, which I'm not, I promise. But yeah, it is a bit more advanced way of thinking. So you need to be like spiritually a bit advanced to kind of comprehend uh, this whole thing I'm talking about right now. But I just wanted to make an audio on it, even though it is hard to explain and it is hard to understand as well. But I just felt the need to do it. So I guess it was for a reason, and I do sincerely think it was to help at least one of you. Uh, here it is. If you have any questions, you can always ask. Okay.